on the Virginia team, does the kickoff chores. It is taken by Tony Ransom, and he will bring it out. And Ransom is loose all the way out to the 30-yard line. Tackle is made by Keith Lyle, number 25. Glenn Foley will open at quarterback for Boston College, the fifth-year senior. Darnell Campbell and David Green in the backfield. Receivers are Keith Miller and Clarence Cannon. And the tight end, 66 grabs for the season. The junior Pete Mitchell. First down and 10, Boston College at the 30. Campbell comes to the near side and moves it all the way out near the 36-yard line before the tackle is made. The offensive line for the Boston College Eagles, Tom Nalen opens at center. Ben Velishka gets a start at left guard. Mark Borelli at right guard. Pete Kendall and Dan Oriskovich are the tackles. It'll be second down and 4. Play action pass. Foley goes deep for Mitchell, and Mitchell can't hang on. Defensive ends for Virginia. Mike Frederick, the sack leader. Matt McKesko on the other side. Ryan Keel and Mark Critchbaum are the defensive tackles. And Randy Neal operates at the middle linebacker. Tom Burns and Jamie Sharper are the outside men. And we'll complete that lineup in just a second. It's third down and 4. Foley straight drop back for Mitchell, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Eric Shorter, Randy Neal rather. And Neal on the deflected pass gives Virginia a first down at the 19-yard line.
This is their 23rd interception on the year. And for Neal, it's his third. But he got a nice bounce up in the air. Mitchell was double teamed right over the middle. Virginia, knowing that Foley's going to go to his number 1 receiver. He's open there. Foley just a little bit late with the ball. Nice play by Jamie Sharper coming in, knocking the ball up in the air for his middle linebacker, and the Cavaliers take over at the 19-yard line.
Simeon Willis will open at quarterback after the interception as Foley has to knock Neal out of bounds. George Welsh saying to us on Thursday, we feel we have to score early to be competitive in this game. And they are in marvelous shape right now. Here's the handoff left side. And it goes to Charles Way, the fullback, number 30. Offensively for the Cavaliers, Simeon Willis, just a sophomore, is the quarterback. He's got Charles Way and Jared Washington running the ball behind him. Tyrone Davis and Demetrius Pete Allen will open at wide receivers. Patrick Jeffers, the leading receiver, is back from injury. The tight end is Aaron Monday, and we'll get the offensive line in a moment. It's second down and 3. Up the middle, Jared Washington, touchdown Virginia. Welsh got his wish. An early score.
Taking advantage of wonderful field position, 2 running plays, first away, and then a huge hole right up the middle to Washington. He's in for his 6th rushing touchdown of the year, but what a huge hole on that left side behind Jeremy Raley, the center Brian Heath, and Jim Reed.
Now Kirk Kirkcaldy is on for the extra point to give the Cavaliers a 7-0 lead, which he has done.
The key was the interception by Randy Neal. Then the offense pays off the defense by taking advantage and scoring, turning into points, the first turnover of the day.
It goes on top 7-0. George Welsh told us he wanted a low-scoring game.
Well, that's been our history in the first place. We don't seem to win those shootouts when it gets into the high 30s or something. We lose them. We've been more effective in 20-17 games or something. I always feel like I have more control of it when your defense is stopping it. But I don't know if we're capable of a lot of, they are capable of a lot of points. I don't know if our offense right now is capable of a lot of points, and that's really why I said that.
I think he's a little bit worried about his pass offense. They're just getting back some receivers, but the injuries have forced Simeon Willis to be a little less confident about the passing game. He's thrown a couple of interceptions lately, but the pass protection's going to hold up. But when you jump out on top 7-0 and after just 2 running plays, couldn't ask for a better start.
Garcia will kick off again, and this one is taken by Anthony Comer, and he'll drop to one knee. The BC Eagles will take over following the touchback at the 20-yard line.
That was kind of interesting. Tony Ransom went over there and told him to stay in the end zone there. He was only 4 yards deep. Well, Tony took one back from 5 yards deep on the opening kickoff and got a nice return. So the coaches must have said something to him on the sidelines. Hey, if you get that ball and you look down and you're standing where the letters read Eagles, don't you come out of that end zone.
Now here's Glenn Foley, who for the season had thrown only 10 interceptions. That is one area in which he had really improved over the course of his career, but intercepted on the deflected pass early on. Darnell Campbell carries it out across the 20 to the 24-yard line. And let's check in on the Virginia sideline with Andrea Joyce. Andrea?
Well, Vern, it seems appropriate that Virginia is playing at Joe Robbie Stadium, the home now of the school's all-time leading rusher. Terry Kirby now with the Miami Dolphins, but he still has a positive influence on this team. Jared Washington talks to him every week, but Jared told me that he usually calls him when he knows he's not going to be there, so Terry has to call him back, and then it's on his bill. The message from yesterday's phone call from Terry was relax and have fun, and you know Jared's having a good time so far, Vern.
I would think so with the touchdown run, Andrea. And there's a pass complete across the middle to Pete Mitchell, number 82. That was the connection that misfired just a moment ago.
And it was good for another first down for Foley and Mitchell. Interesting that Mitchell has been the target of Glenn Foley on all 3 pass attempts in this first quarter.
4th year that they have been together, counting Mitchell's redshirt freshman season. And here is Foley handing it off to Campbell, and he runs over Randy Neal, picks up a couple of yards out near the 33. Well, you didn't quite get to meet the secondary of Virginia when Randy Neal picked off the pass. Here's Keith Lyle and Paul London at the safeties. Joe Rowe and Carl Smith are the cornerbacks, numbers 18 and 47. And there the number of interceptions with which they came into the game, leading the nation in a tie at the top. Play action. Foley, good protection. Right flat, caught by Greg Grice, number 20. Ivan Boyd, by the way, the deep threat for the Eagles, who scored twice against Notre Dame, will not play today because hasn't completely recovered from arthroscopic knee surgery.
But having Greg Grice back gives the Eagles the same type of player. He's their upfield guy, as they call him. You know, you got your go-to guys, which obviously is Pete Mitchell, but the Eagles also have their upfield guys, and that's Grice and Boyd.
Just a bit short.
Now, one thing the Eagles have is a bunch of tight ends. And they're bringing a bunch of them in right now. Gordon Larrow, and there's Pete Mitchell, and Brian Saxton. Carry 5 on their roster, and all 5 of them get involved in the game. 3rd and short.
86 is Saxton. 98 is Gordon Larrow. And it's 3rd and a foot for Boston College. They trail 7-0. That's Mitchell in motion. And a handoff to Campbell. That'll be close. See what the spot is at the 41-yard line.
Mike Frederick did a nice job of forcing Campbell to change direction there. These short yardage plays, very rarely do you want your running back to change direction. As long as he's on the ground, you may want him to change direction and jump up in the air and dive forward. But the penetration by Mike Frederick caused Campbell to move and then bring on this measurement.
Well, as we watch these 2 units on the field, we're seeing strength against strength. This is the BC offense, 506 yards per game against a really good Virginia defensive unit. That's good for the first down as well, and they move the chains and get a fresh series of downs.
And a very unique defensive unit, Vern, because they don't do a lot of substituting. They don't play a lot of nickel coverages. They basically give you 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and 4 defensive backs all day long.
Opening moments of the ball game, we've got 12:18 to go first quarter, 7-0 Virginia leads it. Now the back split behind Foley on first down and 10. Short setup, and that one is almost picked off. Over on the far side, Joe Crocker went for it. Clarence Cannon was the intended receiver.
It appeared that Foley made an audible at the line of scrimmage, and the receiver at the top of the screen didn't hear it. That's Clarence Campbell, and if that one's picked off by Joe Crocker, he goes all the way for a score. That's a very dangerous pass out to the sidelines, especially when the receiver doesn't hear the call.
Second and 10. Straight drop back. That pass is caught by Brent Gibbons, number 80. He's one of those tight ends that Dan was talking about. And will stay in after making the catch.
Talk about the different levels of the pass route. Watch this man come in here and open up the hole for the tight end down the field. Good job of the linebackers coming up on the inside, and Foley again reading the coverage finds the open man.
Gibbons with his 9th catch of the year. First down and 10. Blitz is coming. Foley, pretty good coverage, and incomplete. Intended for Keith Miller, number 23.
That's the type of defense the Cavaliers need to control Glenn Foley. A good pass rush and then tight coverage in the secondary. Carl Smith that time was all over Keith Miller, who almost made an incredible one-handed catch.
Tennessee leading Penn State in the Citrus Bowl. Our score is 7-0 Virginia. 11:38 to go, first quarter of play. Boston College with a 2nd and 10 at the Virginia 43. 3 wide receiver set now on offense for the Eagles of Boston College. Again, play action, and Foley comes left side. Caught by Greg Grice down to the 30-yard line, and that'll be good for another 1st and 10 for Boston College.
Grice is working in the slot. Here he is here, but watch as Jamie Sharper comes out here and almost picks this one off. This is a pretty good example of the arm strength of our quarterback, Glenn Foley here. There's Sharper, and again, if that one's picked off, he goes a long way, but I don't think he was ready for that strength of Foley's arm.
1st and 10, Foley back. Looks down the middle, finds his tight end Mitchell to the 15-yard line. Second time they've run that particular pattern. The first time they've completed the pass. That's a gain of 16.
They have such a good relationship working here. Watch how Foley will just wait for number 82 Mitchell to clear and find that open area. Again, it's against the zone coverage, which Foley will see 90% of the day today. But these two have a real sharp communication thing going on between them.
Mitchell will get a rest. It's 1st down and 10. From the eye, they hand it off. This is David Green. Doesn't carry as much as Campbell, but gets the tote on 1st down and puts it inside the 10 to the 7. That's a pickup of 7. And a problem with the length of the cord. You can't go any farther. Grice and Mitchell come back in.
This offense has certainly settled in after the opening interception by Randy Neal. Eagles are moving at will right now.
2nd down at the 9. Foley back. Fires it off his back foot. Incomplete in the end zone. Pete Mitchell belted as the ball got there.
Now, there's sometimes you just give your star athletes a chance to make great catches. And that's what Foley's doing here for Pete Mitchell. There's the little opening there. Ball is thrown a little bit high, and then it's the big shot by Keith Lyle that keeps Mitchell from making that catch. Great play by Lyle coming over and delivering a big hit right in the tight end's face.
That brings up a 3rd and 3 at the 8 officially. They come to the left side, and Campbell moves it near the 5. This will be close for the first down. Paul London, number 5, makes the tackle. George Welsh in his 12th year as head coach at Virginia. And they will bring the chain out to see if BC got the first down.
Now, if they don't get the first down, it'll be interesting to see if the Eagles will go for it on 4th down. This year they're 5 out of 10 on converting on 4th down, and that's usually short yardage. And you can expect Campbell to take the ball. And Mark Norrie rather, is coming in as an extra blocker. So Coughlin obviously likes his chances of giving the ball to big Darnell Campbell and picking up the first down.
Virginia counters with an extra down lineman in their goal line defense. So this will officially be 4th and 1. There's the number of 4th down conversions for Boston College this year. 7-0 with 10:03 to go in the first quarter of play. Virginia leads BC with 4th and a foot. Campbell got it. That should be enough for a 1st and goal. Boston College, it is.
Normally you tell your tailback to follow your lead blocker. This is Laro here. He's going to go here, but Campbell sees the hole right up the middle and goes away from his lead blocker and jumps forward into the gap, picks up the first down. Goal to go.
Clarence Cannon, number 27, comes near side. Brent Gibbons, number 80, is in the lineup, and here's the sweep to the left. And Campbell caught and dropped as he gets near the 3-yard line. Fumble. Retained apparently by Boston College. Yep. Brian Saxton comes up with the number 86.
Yeah, the Eagles have fumbled 22 times this year. This is number 23, but amazing, they've only lost 12 of those fumbles. Campbell kind of stumbles there, then he gets spun around, and the ball is stripped loose, looks like by Carl Smith, number 47.
Saxton recovers it, and it'll be 2nd down and goal from the 3. 9:20 to go. Opening quarter of play from Joe Robbie Stadium. Darnell Campbell with 19 touchdowns on the ground so far this season. And he is a foot away from number 20.
But that time he got right in behind big number 98, Gordon Laro, and Laro almost cleared a path all the way into the end zone, got down inside the 1, but smart running by Campbell, getting in behind a guy that weighs 250 pounds. You got to wonder about a tight end, though, that wears the number 98. Probably not going to catch a lot of passes. Probably is a real good blocker.
He's a junior from Lynn, Massachusetts, and now 3rd and goal, a foot away. Oh, my goodness. Jamie Sharper, number 33. Terrific defensive play.
Play selection kind of interesting for BC. 3 straight runs from inside the 5-yard line. Got down inside the 1, and then the big play by Sharper right there forces Campbell to go down at about the 2-yard line, and Coughlin's going to settle for the field goal.
That will bring on David Gordon out of Foley's hold. Gordon, of course, whose 41-yarder with no time left defeated Notre Dame. 7 of 11 for the season. Timeout is called. Delay of game is called.
You know, that really doesn't hurt because it improves the angle.
It may help.
Now, whether Virginia will accept it or not.
Good ball. Delay a game on the offense. Declined. 4th down.
Yeah, Virginia knows that old trick. Can't fool a Wahoo too often.
No,
they declined the penalty, and that leaves that tough angle for Gordon.
You met some Wahoos on the street, I understand. Here.
there are Wahoos all over the place, Vern, and I know what a Wahoo is now. It's the guy that drinks a lot of beer and yells, "Wahoo!"
Here's Gordon for the first BC points. Foley's hold. The kick is up and good. Well, an impressive drive for Boston College, their second possession of the ball game, but it comes up half empty as they have to settle for 3 after a first and goal at the 5. 7-3, Virginia leads. Virginia leads it. BC has to settle for the field goal. Let's check in with David Logan on the Boston College sideline.
Well, you know, Vern, as you've already mentioned in the preset, this is a team very explosive, BC, a team that's averaged 44 points in an 8-game stretch. Right now, they've been stalled on 2 drives. You have to look at Virginia playing a solid game defensively, good pursuit on the ground. But the message here on the BC bench is we're not going to panic. There's a lot of time left. We believe in ourselves. We're going to pick things up and get some points on the board. Vern?
Okay, David. 7-3. The touchdown run, Jared Washington for Virginia. The field goal, David Gordon for Boston College. And there's the fellow who made the big defensive play, number 33.
Yeah, Jamie Sharper stopped Campbell with a 2-yard loss on 3rd down, and that forced Tom Coughlin to rethink his strategy on short yardage. Went for it on 4th and inches, but on 4th down from the 2-yard line decided to go for the field goal.
Brett Bleeker will kick off for Boston College, number 19. And he kicks it deep and out of bounds, something we saw him do 5 times in practice 2 days ago. Virginia started off winning those 6 of 7. They really played so well. The big win over North Carolina seemed to set them up, but then Simeon Willis started throwing a few interceptions. They lost some receivers, 3 of them, as a matter of fact, and finished the season going south with losses to Clemson and Virginia Tech. Matter of fact, they did not know until late in the game that they were going to play in a bowl here at the Carquest Bowl. It depended on the outcome of the Arkansas LSU game. George Wells said he was at his family vacation home in Nantucket, ironically enough, up in Massachusetts, when word came that LSU had lost and they were in. How's that for a...
Well, it's what you do with those 11 seconds that count, Vern.
That's right. Willis, Washington, and a couple of yards to the 37-yard line.
Tom O'Brien was talking to us about how the Cavs need to get back to playing as they did earlier in the year, but what they had earlier in the year was a healthy ball club. He talked about the injuries to the wide receivers, and what that does to a young quarterback's confidence is it kind of destroys it. He loses his security blankets, but now with Monday back and a couple of the other guys, especially Patrick Jeffers, who's their leading receiver, that will help Simeon Willis. Also, this play calling should help him too, keeping it on the ground as he sees the time clock run down and quickly calls a timeout.
Our officiating crew is out of the Big Ten today. That's our referee, Richard Honig. And time has been called. 6:56 remaining first quarter. Virginia up by 4. Virginia leads it over Boston College 7-3 at the Carquest Bowl. Today's overhead shots are courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, based in Pompano Beach, Florida. At the controls is Captain Drew Marshall from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And our cameraman is Bob Rosedale. There were some 40 to 45,000 tickets sold for this game, we are told. Not everybody who bought a ticket showed up. 7-3 Virginia. And we are midway through the first quarter. Larry Holmes in motion. Willis finds Larry Holmes, and he scoots down the sidelines and has not stepped out of bounds. Finally is knocked out as he gets to the 45-yard line.
Dan Kerr is number 91. He has a shot at pushing Holmes out of bounds, but he's a run defender, not really a pass defender, and you can see why. Doesn't quite have the speed to get over there to contain Holmes, and that's a nice play by Larry Holmes, getting on the Boston side of the 50.
First down at the 15-yard line after an 45-yard line after an 18-yard gain. And they test the middle. Jared Washington, number 22, runs into Mike Mamula, who was one of the heroes of that BC win over Notre Dame. There's Mamula, 14 tackles in that game. Named the player of the game despite some outstanding efforts by 3 or 4 of his teammates. Said he was shocked when he learned that he had won the Outstanding Player Award. 2nd down and 5. 7-3, Virginia leads. 6:06 to go, first quarter of play. Washington belted as he nears the line of scrimmage and knocked down at the 44-yard line. Tackle is made by Stephen Boyd, number 50.
And Boyd had some help from Eric Shorter, who came up from his strong safety position and held him to a short gain.
Now Daryl Porter comes in as a 5th defensive back, replacing Kerr for Boston College, number 44. Fun week for Daryl Porter. He's a true freshman who played high school ball at St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Fort Lauderdale, and that is where Boston College practiced every day this week. Here's Willis, knocked down. Mike Mamula, number 59.
He led the team with 11 sacks this year, and he's always going to be on the open side here. Here he is, number 59. 6'5", shows his athletic ability, sheds the blocker, and then knocks the pass down. Came real close to picking it off. That's an outstanding play. Just a sophomore, Mamula. Talk about a bright future.
Mamula last year as a redshirt freshman had a shoulder go out on the first play from scrimmage in the first game, and it hindered his season to a great extent. But this year everything came together for him. There's a nice punt down inside the 15, and even nicer down inside the 10. Will Bryce, the punter, and BC takes over at the 8, and we go down to Andrea Joyce.
All right, Vern, Virginia may be up, but they're not satisfied. The defensive line coaches just told their players, you've got to get in Foley's face more. They want the defense to play a lot more aggressively, especially on the pass rush. Best of you guys.
All right, Andrea.
You know, it's interesting about coaches when they talk about Glenn Foley. On offense, you hear coaches talk about his decision-making, how decisive he is, and then defensive coaches say, you got to get in his face and put pressure on him. Sounds like a pro quarterback to me.
First down and 10 at the 8, 7-3. They'll test the right side and keep the ball on the ground.
Those are the type of things that you hear said about a player like Dan Marino. He doesn't have a lot of mobility, so we're going to have to pressure him right up, get in his face. Also wears Dan Marino's number as well, doesn't he, Vern?
And it's interesting. He said that there was nothing connected with Marino nor a lack of superstition about 13. He was a baseball player, and he wore number 23. And he said this is as close as he could get to 23 as a quarterback. Michael Campbell, number 18, comes into the lineup now, that wide receiver. And the handoff goes to David Green. He's out near the 15-yard line.
We talked, Vern, about how unique this Virginia defense is and how they do not substitute a lot. And yet their ranking is very high, 25th in the country. But it's basically a 4-3 over and under. They like to shoot the gaps, but behind it they play an umbrella too deep primarily, and that's the reason they picked off so many passes.
3rd and 2, Foley back. And he finds Mitchell for the first down at the 23-yard line.
You would think, though, on a 3rd and very short yardage, 2 to 5 yards, that a defense would play a lot of man-to-man. That time, I think the Cavaliers should have been in man-to-man because Foley had a lot of time to throw and only needed a couple yards to find his tight end Mitchell, and did easily.
Mitchell, who said he thrives on 3rd downs. And he said not to disparage the wide receivers, but he does want the ball when it's 3rd and 5 or 6. Here's the blitz. Nope, no blitz. They back up. And down the middle for Mitchell. Has the ball at the 45.
Well, they did go to man-to-man on 1st and 10, though, Vern. Watch Mitchell work on the post route here against the safety. There's Keith Lyle, and Mitchell, without being known for having a lot of speed, gets a perfect pass from his quarterback. 32-yard gain for Foley and Mitchell.
For Mitchell, that's the 4th catch for 61 yards. The sun comes out. And the pass goes to Mitchell right side. That's catch number 5. Had a day to remember forever against Notre Dame with 13 catches including 2 big catches on what proved to be the game-winning drive.
It looks to me like he's going to get 15 to 20 catches today, though, Vern. 5 already, and we still got two and a half minutes to go here in the first quarter, and Foley is just looking for him almost every time he goes back to pass.
2nd down and 7 now. 7-3, Virginia leads. 4-man rush by the Cavs. Pump fake, and the pass is caught by Brett Gibbons, his 2nd catch of the day, number 80. And that's a first down, Boston College at the 25.
Foley does a nice job of just sliding to the open area in the pocket. Protection is excellent, but his receiver isn't open, so he buys a little bit of time and mistakenly throws the ball to Gibbons. Probably thought it was Mitchell. Finding all his weapons that time. Big target, though. Brent Gibbons is 6'7".
First down. Whoops! Fumble. Virginia ball. Mike Frederick recovers for the Cavaliers and graciously hands the ball to the official.
This is just a bad exchange between the quarterback and the tailback. What happens is David Green slipped on the play, and as Foley reached out to hand him the ball, Green knocked it out of his hands. Frederick was just in the right area at the right time. 2 turnovers now for Boston College as they were moving the ball again.
Cavalier offense back on the field with 2:16 remaining in the first quarter of play. And a play action rollout. Willis takes out of bounds as he gets near the 33-yard line. Chris Sullivan, number 93. There's Mike Frederick.
Keep working out here, ATC, baby.
Got our camera wet. Again.
I'm gonna give him a towel.
Michael.
Or a bib.
A bib.
Oh, boy.
2nd down. He is irrepressible. It was fun to get to know Mike Frederick during this week. On 2nd down. Pass into the flat, incomplete. Intended for Jared Washington.
You know, a lot of the talk all week has been about Glenn Foley and the Eagles offense. This Cavalier offense is pretty darn good too when they're all healthy. They average about 400 yards a game in total offense, and that's a good number. What Simeon Willis brings to this offense is a total package according to his coaches. He can run the ball well, he can throw on the run, and he throws a good deep ball and has a touch for the shorter pass as well. That time he threw the short pass, it's a little bit too hard.
Here's the blitz. Willis gets it inside. And Larry Holmes is loose. Foot race. Knocked out of bounds at the 18. Terrence Wiggins caught up with him. A 49-yard gain.
Perfectly executed flanker screen to Larry Holmes. Watch after he comes down inside here, how he just picks up his blockers and comes out the other side of the formation. Almost like a punt return situation where you get to the picket wall. And now it's good speed by Wiggins to chase him down. Looks like Holmes started to run out of gas, but did get it inside the 20.
That's a gain of 49. And they had set the chains erroneously on the far side, so now they move them and get them into proper position. .153 to go. Steve Szabo, he's the defensive coordinator of Boston College, looking on. One-time teammate of Roger Staubach's at the Naval Academy. 1st and 10. Charles Wade. And Joe Kamara makes the tackle. Number 5.
Talked about Joe Kamara, Vern. He's a 5'9" cornerback, and he and his other partner Michael Reed is also 5'9", and that's going to be a problem for these guys, because you look it up here, 6'5" and 6'4" for Patrick Jeffries. look for Simeon Willis to put the ball up for grabs to his taller receiver.
Jeffers is in the lineup, lined up wide to the right now. First game after missing 2 with an injury. They try the option down the left side and the short side of the field. And a good defensive job by Dan Kerr, number 91.
You know, in talking to Steve Zabo, their defensive coordinator, said the option play really gives them problems because they like to play a 46 defense. Here is a version of that, but it's a good play out on the outside by Kamara and by Dan Kerr that keeps that option from being successful. Also, the Cavs ran it to the short side of the field. Simeon Willis did not have anywhere to go with the ball.
Brings up a 3rd and 13, final half minute, first quarter. Willis goes left, incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Intended for the tight end, Aaron Monday, number 89.
And even if Monday had picked up that pass, Vern, he would have been short of the first down. Looked like a pretty good shot from Willis. Monday just a little bit late getting his head around.
We'll bring on the field goal kicker, a freshman Kirkheide from Jacksonville, Florida, who won the job in preseason and was given a scholarship. Estimated value of that about $72,000 for an out-of-state student. Figure 18 per year, and he hit the upright. No good. Hit the right upright and comes caroming back.
The kicker, Kyle Kirkheide, hit a carom.
How far do you want to carry this?
I think we've just about gone far enough. Watch this one hook a little bit too far on Kyle Kirkheide, the kicker.
Be careful.
Clunk.
Crash. And the ball at the 20 with 24 seconds to go, first quarter. 7-3, 2 Boston College turnovers. And here's the carry by Darnell Campbell, number 22, out near the 23-yard line. Todd White, number 91, makes the stop.
So I guess it's Virginia's time or turn to not take advantage of good field position. Talked about those 2 turnovers from Boston College, but remember, they were also inside the 1-yard line and didn't get a score. Had to settle for a field goal, and there are only 3 points.
That is the end of 1 at the Carquest Bowl at Joe Robbie Stadium in South Florida. We'll be back with quarter number 2 after this message. We are Joe Robbie Stadium, Miami, Florida, just south of Broward County, and the game presented by the fine folks in Fort Lauderdale. Vern Lundquist along with Dan Fouts, Dave Logan, and Andrea Joyce. And the Cavaliers of Virginia lead it 7-3 as we get set for the start of quarter number 2. Foley 9 of 14, intercepted once. That set up the only touchdown of the game. He also fumbled the ball on an errant handoff. Washington's touchdown put UVA up 7-0, and then Gordon's field goal made it 7-3. Here's Foley back, and comes right. Back, almost picked off again. That was Todd White, number 91, who almost had his first pick of the year.
But it's a pass rush again that forces Foley to come out of the pocket. Frederick gets a good run at the quarterback. He gets double teamed by Mark Borelli. But you can't throw late over the middle. This would have been a lineman's dream for Todd White as he just came out on pursuit and the ball hit him right in the face.
3rd and 8, Boston College now. And Foley 9 of 15. Deep right side. He's got a man open. Caught. Clarence Cannon, no flags down. Touchdown. His previous longest catch of the season was 25 yards. That one went 78.
It's almost as if Foley said, enough of this dinking around stuff. Let me throw the bomb, coach. he throws a real low trajectory bomb as well. That one couldn't have been better thrown to Clarence Cannon. He's no stranger to the end zone, though. 11 touchdown receptions in his BC career.
Gordon on for the extra point, which is up and good.
Foley just is going to get back and let it rip. 5-step drop. He's going to set his feet well. Sees Cannon start to get behind the receiver. Watch this ball drop in behind 2 defensive backs. And there's nothing but end zone for Clarence Cannon.
Making it to the pros takes a certain level of excellence. The experience to get the job done right.
David Logan back on the Boston College sidelines. Just a moment ago, I overheard Clarence Gannon talking about how he got open. He had mentioned that he saw the corner was playing him soft. He went back into the huddle and said to Glenn Foley, I can get open on the outside. Just go ahead and give it a heave. I'm going to get it in. Dan Verne, back to you.
All right, David, they all say that, Dan, don't they?
They're always open, and they can always beat their man deep. But and now he's going to tell the coach, let's try that one again. I could get behind Joe Crocker. And he also beat the safety coverage coming over Keith Lyle, who's a pretty good safety. But again, I think that the arm strength of Foley is something that the Cavaliers just aren't prepared for. Very few quarterbacks in college throw the ball as hard and as far as number 13.
Well, he threw it 78 yards in all that time. The last 35 came after Cannon made the catch, and now Bleecker will kick off for BC. They have gone on top 10-7 over a Virginia team that had scored the first touchdown of the game. Holmes and Washington are the 2 deep men. Here is Bleecker trying to angle it toward the sideline in practice the other day, and they will do so again, and this time it's high and short and taken by Washington at the 15. Out to the 34-yard line. Steve Marciano, Rocky's nephew.
Here's the coverage. This is Crocker here, and here's Lyle, the safety. And watch as it's just a burn shot down the sidelines for Clarence Cannon. Very little move, just all-out speed. He goes by Crocker easily, and Lyle tries for the dive and the strip. Good job of keeping his balance and taking it on in.
Clarence Cannon from Roosevelt, New York. And first down and 10, Virginia now. This is Larry Holmes in motion. The handoff doesn't get anything. Jared Washington, number 22. Stopped almost immediately by David Jones and Stephen Boyd. Second and 10.
This Boston College defense is undersized when you compare it to the size of the Virginia front line. But that doesn't bother Steve Szabo, their defensive coordinator. He says if we play solid defense, we'll be all right. Solid defense means getting 11 men to the ball.
Second and 10. 14 minutes to go, first half of play. Play action. Willis, he'll try and emulate Foley. Goes deep into double coverage, and this one will be incomplete. Intended for Tyrone Davis, number 82, is a wide receiver.
Talked about the second half of the season for Simeon Willis. Things dropped off just a little bit here. This is not the way you want to finish your season with 10 interceptions in the last 4 games. Also, the passing completion percentage is down and the touchdowns, but a lot of that had to do with his receivers getting injured.
Patrick Jeffers back in the lineup now for the Cavaliers. Willis with time comes left. Jeffers makes the catch. And the leading receiver for the season for Virginia gets his first grab of the afternoon. Missed the last 2 games of the regular season, and he was one of the men you're talking about. Jeffers from Fort Worth Country Day in Fort Worth, Texas.
Now, he led the Cavs in receiving with 32, and Mitchell led the Eagles in receiving with 66. A little bit of difference there.
And it's fourth down right now for Virginia. 13-15 remaining first half of play. Kenyatta Watson is back to return the punt. Moves up. Oh, my goodness. That'll be flags all over the place. Pete Allen, number 2, made the contact.
Sometimes you just get a little anxious to pull the trigger. And that time, Demetrius Pete Allen pulled the trigger about a day early. That ball isn't anywhere near. And in college, you got to give that receiver 6 feet of clearance. That's a pretty good shot. He got his money's worth.
15 yards, first down.
That's what it cost him.
Boy, and that really cost his entire team, because that 15 yards puts the ball out to the 45.
13:05 to go, first half of play. We're at Joe Robbie Stadium, and Boston College is up by 3.
Andrea Joyce back on the Virginia sidelines. Virginia still unhappy about the lack of pressure on Foley. The defensive coaches came over to the players and said, have we hit him? Have we even hit him yet? Now they're looking to change the pass scheme. Back to you guys, the rush scheme rather.
Okay, Andrea, what do you think they might do, Dan?
I think they got to bring more pressure, and that's one thing that Lance doesn't really want to do is bring blitzes. He wants those 4 down linemen to get pressure. He's been whipping them on the sidelines.
1st and 10, Boston College at their own 45-yard line. Foley lobs it out near side, and Campbell, second chance, makes the grab. Tom Burns, number 43, makes the stop.
It's not easy putting pressure on Foley and this offense. Only 9 sacks all year. This offensive line has done a great job, and oftentimes they'll do that with just 5 men blocking against the defense. One thing the Eagles like to do is get 5 men out on every pass route, so that puts a lot of pressure on the offensive line and the quarterback.
Greg Landry, one of the better offensive linemen, is not playing today because he became an academic casualty. And Ben Belishka is moved in at left guard, taking his spot. Now the play clock runs down, and Boston College has to use a timeout. 12:58 remaining first half. BC up by 3. Foley today. Earlier this season, they went up against Heisman winner Charlie Ward, and Mike Frederick compared the 2 quarterbacks.
I'd say the difference is Charlie Ward adds that dimension of, scrambling out of the pocket and stepping up inside and taking off for 30, 40 yards, which Foley's more of a kid who's got the confidence in his line. He's going to stand back there and, take the shot just to deliver the ball downfield. So that's, I'd say his added dimension is that he's going to stand in there as long as it takes to find the right receiver, and we're going to have to get in there awfully quick to get him down on the ground.
Mike Frederick, the leader in sacks for this Virginia defense, and now at wide receiver, a converted defensive back for Boston College, Tony Ransom. He's split to the top of the screen wearing number 2. And they probably have him in mind for this play. Here's Foley back, and Ransom was well covered, and Foley gets sacked for the first time today, and only the 10th time this season. John Harris got there, number 98.
Ransom was well covered by number 47, Carl Smith. That had to be a red light, red flag go up for Smith when he saw Ransom come in the game. He's a sprinter, and that's all he did was just take off and run. Number 98 is John Harris, and this is a tall football team, and this is the tallest of the tall, 6'8". John Harris, just a freshman.
3rd and 11, Boston College. Screen pass, incomplete, intended for Campbell. It'll be 4th down.
And that was Foley's worst pass of the day. He threw Campbell a grounder. 3rd and 11 was been a lot of yards for Campbell to pick up on the screen pass, and Foley obviously disappointed in his performance on that play.
Jeff Beckley comes on to punt again, and Larry Holmes is the deep man. There's Holmes waiting at the 15-yard line. Fair catch called by Holmes, and he grabs it at the 9-yard line. Well, coming up tomorrow, CBS Sports brings you down the playoff stretch with regional action in the NFL. You'll see either the Cowboys at the New York Giants for supremacy in the NFC East, Green Bay at Detroit, and Phoenix will also play at Atlanta, Chicago, and Los Angeles later in the day. Greg and Terry will have the playoff picture framed for you as it happens. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL Today. All you need to know.
Go.
First and 10, Virginia. They trail by a 10-7 count with 12:05 to go, first half of play. Play fake. Willis gets rid of it. Incomplete. Thrown in the general vicinity of Bobby Neely, the tight end. Tim Morabito was covering. And let's check in with Dave Logan.
Okay, Vern, thank you very much. The play we just saw from Simeon Willis, the Boston College defensive players were just warned about that. Steve Zabel had said, watch out for the misdirection. So they're going to start to look for some of the trick plays in the second quarter. Vern?
All right, David. And here's Simeon Willis. Only 2 passes in his career before this season. And now the all-time leading passer in a single season for Virginia. Pass mark held by Scott Secules. And here's the running effort to the left side after the 11-yard line. Brian Howlett made the tackle of.
I think Szabo has his defense's attention. Look how they've come down and they've moved their defensive ends inside. And that really jams up that inside running. Good job of Morabito as the nose tackle, taking on the blockers and allowing Brian Howlett to come over and make another tackle.
That'll make it 3rd down and 8. Virginia 1 of 4 on 3rd down conversions. Quarterback draw, and they've got that first down plus as Willis moves it out to the 22-yard line. Tackle made by Terrence Wiggins, number 49.
Talked about the total package of Simeon Willis. This is the difference between him and a lot of quarterbacks. His ability to run with the ball. He has to take a pretty good hit there from Terrence Wiggins, but he does pick up the first down. And that's something that Boston College has to be concerned with, is the ability to run. That time it was a designed quarterback draw by Simeon Willis.
3 wide receivers set on 1st and 10. The pass is complete to Tyrone Davis. And that's a first down out to the 39-yard line.
Willis told us that he loves having these big, tall receivers because he doesn't have to be as exact with his passes. He threw that ball before Davis was even ready for it, but Davis had the athletic ability and at 6'5", the reach to go up and get that one and pick up another first down.
And that moves it out for a first down and 10 at the 39 with 10:35 to go, first half. 10-7, Boston College has the lead. 78-yard pass and catch, the difference in the game. Willis, nice play. Dandy catch made by Bobby Neely. Or is it Aaron Monday? It's Monday. 89 instead of 88.
It's the same pass that he tried to hit Neely on coming off the goal line that Dave Logan was talking about. A misdirection, kind of a bootleg. And that's one of the other parts of that total package, being able to throw on the run. Watch the fake to Charles Way. The little rollout. There's the tight end Monday in the secondary. Nice catch and throw, and another Cav first down.
That's a gain of 11 and a first down at midfield. They'll catch the middle this time. And Charles Way, the junior from Philadelphia. Jared Washington, the other starting running back, is also from Philly. And that's a gain of 3. Here's Way, 468 yards coming into the ball game for the season. And Jared Washington, who has the Virginia touchdown, that came early in the ball game after an interception set up a short Virginia drive. 9:25 to go, first half. 10-7, BC leads. Good protection for Willis. He lobs it across for Holmes, and that'll be another first down for Virginia. Stephen Boyd, number 50, made the tackle.
One thing that the Eagles want to do is they want to move this guy around. This is number 59, Mike Mamula. A little confusion here as to where to line up because the Cavaliers want to keep shifting this guy, the tight end, from side to side. But right now, Willis is settling in quite nicely at the quarterback spot, throwing some good passes.
9 minutes to go, first half. First down and 10, Virginia. Washington rips it down at the 18-yard line. Tackle is made by Joe Kamara.
with any successful running play, you're going to have good blocking. Watch this left guard here do the job with the double team. They come off, and Washington takes the ball inside the 20.
That's a gain of 20 and a first down at the 18 with 8:40 to go, first half of play. Most impressive Virginia drive now. They took the fair catch of the punt at the 9, and they've moved it down inside the 20 of Boston College. Willis flips it out for Holmes, incomplete, 2nd and 10. Larry Holmes, a junior from Washington, D.C., and George Welsh finds reason to take the cap off on that play. George, winningest coach at the Naval Academy and the winningest coach in Virginia history, now in his 12th year. He finished 3rd in the Heisman Trophy balloting in 1955. The winner that year from Ohio State, Howard Hopalong Cassidy, and the number 2 man, great running back from Texas Christian University, Jim Swink. And I remember it. That's the scary thing.
You probably covered that too.
It wasn't that bad. Here's an incomplete pass. I did see Jim Swink run for 215 yards against the University of Texas that year. As I was selling soft drinks in the end zone, I hastened to add. George Welsh, he was laughing when he was reminiscing about those days at the Naval Academy when he was a quarterback. He was an All-American and 3rd in the Heisman. He threw for 1,300 yards. For you, that was what, 2.5 games?
Yeah, but back in those days, that was a lot of yards.
It was. Out of the shotgun. Holmes. What a nifty little play that was. And the Cavaliers move it down to the 6. That should be enough for another first down.
That's that same nifty little flanker screen, Vern. Same guy, too, Larry Holmes. Watch on the outside as he comes into the middle here and then finds the blocking and gets down the field again. Boston College will run this play as well. Perfectly executed. Look at those linemen getting down field a little bit early, but the officials didn't call it, and the Cavs have it inside the 10.
1st and goal, Virginia. Under the 8-minute mark now, Virginia trails by 3. Left side to the 5, touchdown, Cavaliers. Charles Way. Way had 7 touchdowns on the ground coming in. And he and Washington both have scores now to put Virginia back on top. Here's the extra point by Kirkheide, who is having fun with that carom today. Clunk.
A pair of clunkers for Kirkheide. 12 plays, 91 yards for the Wahoos. Behind the strong passing of Simeon Willis and this big offensive line clearing the way for Charles Way to get into the end zone.
Extra point no good. Virginia up by 3.
Front by Ken Bukzinski and the center, Brian Heath here. Watch as they just open a huge hole on this left side. Agostino comes off on the linebacker Howlett. Perfect execution by all 3 men on that left side.
Charles Way's touchdown from 7 yards out puts Virginia back on top. This is their 6th bowl game, and as a school, they did not play in a bowl until 1984. That was the Peach Bowl when a quarterback named Don Mikowski and the Cavaliers ousted a quarterback named Jim Everett and the Purdue Boilermakers 27-24.
But it was their last bowl game that is on the mind of head coach George Welch, an embarrassing 48-14 loss to Oklahoma. So the Cavaliers are determined to win this bowl game.
From the 35 with 7:48 remaining in the first half. Here's the kickoff by Garcia, and a fair catch taken by Howlett at the 20-yard line. And let's check in with Andrea Joyce.
Vern, Virginia had another opponent this week, the dreaded burrowing owl. Practices at South Plantation High School were restricted a bit because the owls had burrowed their way under the field. Now, since they're an endangered species, there's a $10,000 fine if you mess with them. We saw the birds at practice. They can get pretty mean and do an awful lot of chattering if you get too close. That's why they are affectionately called the howdy birds. And that, Vern, is your wildlife lesson of the day.
Thank you, Mom.
Wahoo!
That's what it is.
That's the wrong kind of owl, isn't it? That's a night owl from Virginia.
7:47 remaining in the first half. Andrea Joyce and her husband Harry Smith, proud parents of their second son just 8 weeks ago. And here's the call.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5 yards, still first down.
Richard Honig, our referee. So from the 15, first down and 15, 7:47 to go before halftime. Campbell. Dandy run out to the 25-yard line. Randy Neal, number 6, made the tackle. (13-10). Virginia leads Boston College. Only the second time these two teams have ever met. You've got to go back 30 years for the only other meeting. And that one was a BC victory, and it was a game played 1 week before the Kennedy assassination. Campbell comes in at a wide receiver spot now. And Foley showing a little exasperation. The play clock down to 2 when he called timeout. So time comes with 7:07 remaining in the first half. Foley trots over to the BC sideline, and that's where we find Dave Logan.
All right, thank you very much, Vern. You know, that last drive by Virginia was pretty lengthy, Vern. The last time BC has played was November 26 against West Virginia. Guys are starting to suck wind a little bit. They're starting to ice them down with some of the towels, as you can see. But right now, it looks like it may rain, so perhaps they'll get a break in the weather conditions. It is humid down here on the field.
But not as cold as it is some parts of the country.
Yeah, we'll take that humidity, David. Don't be messing with our weather now. This is pretty good.
Oh, okay.
13-10, 7:07 remaining in the first half.
It's unusual for Foley to have to use a timeout there. This Boston College offense is really a team that gets in and out of the huddle very quickly. And in talking to Rick Lance, defensive coordinator for Virginia, he thought that might be a problem because they try to use a lot of substitutions, do the Eagles, and they have not been running very smoothly so far.
Foley across the middle, caught by Campbell, and that's going to be enough for a first down at the 34-yard line as we hit the 7-minute mark before halftime. The tackle made by Randy Neal and Jamie Sharper. That's a gain of 9 and a first down. 13-10. Virginia leading Boston College.
You see the substitutions coming in for the Eagles. What they do on the sidelines is one coach will signal the formation, another coach will bring in the personnel, and then one of the guys bringing in the play gives it to Foley. So it's very complicated, but it usually runs very smoothly.
Ransom is in. They fake the reverse to him. Foley being chased, and he goes deep for Comer, who is hit. We have a flag, and that'll be a first down as Keith Lyle, the all-ACC safety, is going to get caught for interference.
And in college football, that's all you need to do is make contact with the receiver. And this will be a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. They tried to fake the end around to Ransom, and then Foley got out and found Comer down the sidelines, and Lyle came over, lost track of the ball, and interfered.
On the defense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
That moves the ball to the 49-yard line.
Boy, and Ryan Keel just drilled Foley after he let go of that pass. Watch the fake of the end around. And Foley's going to move out of the pocket, see his running back down the sidelines, and then just get drilled. Oh, and it's the second shot when he hits the ground that hurts more.
First and 10, Boston College. They trailed by 3. 6:35 to go, first half. Blitz is threatened. DA is not coming. Comer is going instead, and a flag is dropped as Comer is tackled. The flag back at the 47-yard line. Anthony Comer, the junior from Brockton, Massachusetts.
So he's going to be holding against BC.
The rain is starting to come down.
Yeah, way to go, David. Call for rain, and that's what we get, huh? Hope he has an umbrella down there, Vern.
10 yards from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
It's amazing. We've had 2 plays back-to-back where we've had penalties. Prior to that, we've only had 2 penalties the entire first half. So as the rain, the penalties are coming in bunches.
And you can see the weather moving in on Joe Robbie Stadium. 50% chance. And we just got it. First down, screen pass, left side. Campbell tackled at the 45-yard line by James Ferrier. Number 42, whose nickname is Potsy.
Yeah, a nickname that came with him from high school, trying to shake it. He's just a freshman, but his teammates won't let him shake that Potsy. I'm sure a lot of his teammates never even saw the show Happy Days.
No. Imagine if they nicknamed him Fonz.
They wouldn't know what they were talking about.
Second down. Trap play up the middle. Nice play. Campbell down to the 34-yard line in the rainstorm. Paul London makes the stop, number 5.
They're going to go right after Randy Neal, middle linebacker here, with 2 men. There's Velishka and the left tackle, Kendall, come over there, open up another huge hole. We're seeing real good passing in this game, but we're also seeing some excellent work by the run blocking of both offensive lines.
Campbell with 13 carries for 51 yards now. First down and 10, backs in the eye behind Foley. Now the audible, and they split. Rain coming down. Foley finds Campbell to the 33-yard line. That's just a pickup of 6 feet. Randy Neal makes the stop.
And they're throwing out some extra equipment for Glenn Foley. This is to keep his hands dry, but he also wears a glove on his left hand here, something he does all year long, whether the weather is good or bad. But it's that right hand he's got to be concerned with. You see him tucking it away, trying to keep it dry. Speaking of keeping dry.
Second down. Up the middle. David Green. First down, BC inside the 20. London and Lyle, the 2 safeties, combined for the tackle. A gain of 15 yards.
You know, ever since it started raining, BC quit throwing the ball. Right guard now this time, Mark Borelli turns out, opens a huge hole. Starting to sound a little redundant about these huge holes, but that's about all you can say about them. That's unusual for Virginia to being run on as effectively as Boston College is doing.
Good block by Lauro that time too, and he's in the backfield now on first down and 10. They'll go left behind Lauro's block. Campbell to the 5. That's another first down for Boston College. A gain of 12 on Campbell's 14th carry.
They go on the left side now this time, Vern, behind Lauro. As you said, these running backs are getting beyond the line of scrimmage and beyond the linebackers and are getting to tee off on these defensive backs. Boston College now first and goal from the 5.
3:52 remaining first half. 13-10, Virginia leads it. Foley fakes the toss, goes deep right side, caught, Cannon, touchdown. Clarence Cannon, second TD, second quarter. And the extra point to come with 3:42 remaining in the half. David Gordon on to tack on the 7th point. Up and good.
Second touchdown today for Clarence Cannon, and the second from Glenn Foley, who now has 27 on the year. Little play action. Cannon on the out route, lofted perfectly, and another touchdown for BC. Cannon's second touchdown of the day, and it's a post route. He beats Joe Crocker for the second time as well. Good inside move, quickly to the outside, and his quarterback is right on the mark. Clarence Cannon is the Eagles' big gun. Their top gun is their tight end. They've got guns all over the place, Vern.
Pretty good efficiency rating for Clarence Cannon. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you ought to go in and renegotiate. Well, that's the other game.
That's right. 3:42 to go before halftime.
And let it rain.
Bleeker will kick off. And it's taken by Washington at the 14-yard line. And again, he's got some room. Out to the 42-yard line. Virginia takes over with 3:34 remaining before halftime. Tackle made by Anthony Comer. Coming up at 5 this afternoon Eastern Time, women's volleyball. That's at 5 o'clock. That's the NCAA championship coming up this afternoon. Whoops. Well, you can see the weather cells moving across Dade Broward County here. That's from the blimp.
And X marks the spot where we are, deep in the red. Not a good place to be, unless you're in this nice, cozy press box.
Terrific hat. Did he just shift gears in a blimp?
It's a good thing they're not going very fast up there.
Is that what he was going from 2nd to 3rd?
Yes, he was. There is no 4th.
2nd down and 10. Across the middle, caught. That's Monday, the tight end. And it's a first down, Virginia at the 47-yard line. So Willis moves the Cavaliers across midfield. I have a feeling that weather cell may move right across us.
Virginia's got to be pretty happy about the way things are as we get down to almost 2.5 minutes to go in this first half. Only down by 4 points. That's what George Welch was talking about. Wanted to stay close. And he's got to be real happy with the performance of his quarterback, Simeon Willis.
131 yards on 8 of 15 so far. And now he throws it deep left side and has Davis open. A missed tackle by Porter and a first down at the 20. First, the good pass from Willis to Davis, and then Darrell Porter missed the tackle.
He's a big receiver at 6'5", 225 pounds, but what's impressive is his agility and moves after the catch. Makes Porter miss. He has the strength to break through the tackle, gets down the field right about the 20-yard line. And again, Virginia is on the move and looking to score.
Davis will get a rest. Patrick Jeffers, Larry Holmes, and Pete Allen come in. And here's the quarterback draw. Willis down to the 15-yard line. That's a pickup of a quick 5 with 1:57 to go. Fumble, but recovered by the Cavaliers. There's a look from the Goodyear blimp as the rain showers move over South Florida. Second down and 5. 17-13, Boston College leads Virginia. Holmes in motion. They find Holmes. Oh, he tried to turn upfield before he had possession of the ball.
Yes, he did, and he's angry with himself. Knew he was open in the flat. The ball was thrown just a little bit behind him, but he was thinking of getting in that end zone.
Clock is stopped with 1:14 before the halftime break. 17-13 Boston College leads. Kevin Brooks comes in as a running back now, number 26. As you get an end zone view, and now out of the shotgun on 3rd and 5, the Cavaliers face a blitz. They lob it left side for Kevin Brooks. He's to the 10, still driving and out of bounds to stop the clock with a first down at the 5-yard line. Mike Mamula and Darryl Porter combined for the tackle.
That's a real good call for the Cavaliers against the blitz. Just swing it out to your running back. And Brooks wasn't about to go out of bounds. He was looking for the end zone as well. This has been an impressive offensive show by the other offense this afternoon, George Welch's Cavaliers.
10 of 16 now for 167 for Simeon Willis. Backs in the eye on 1st and goal. They'll come left side and don't get anything. Dan Kerr. And Joe O'Brien is also part of that. Time has been called by Virginia.
Here's Kerr, 91, and he comes into the backfield totally unblocked here. Some type of mix-up by the Cavaliers offensive line as he and Joe O'Brien combine on the tackle. Big play by Dan Kerr.
Simeon Willis talking with George Welch. He's the latest in a long line of really good Virginia quarterbacks.
Yeah, I kind of like this over here, Vern, if I can work the telestrator right. More passes than runs. That's why we have a nice, exciting 17-13 first half.
I mentioned Willis as the latest inhabitant of that quarterback spot. Don Mikowski, of course, in the pros. Scott Sequels is in New England. Matt Blunden, Kansas City, and Sean Moore at Denver. And look at this, the single season leader in most passing yards, Simeon Willis, and he had thrown only 2 passes at Virginia prior to this season.
I'm talking to Tom O'Brien, their offensive coordinator. He said he got the job because he makes good decisions. He throws the deep ball and the short ball equally well. He can throw on the run, and he is a definite threat as a running back on the quarterback draws and rollouts. And yes, he can kick the ball as well. He is a triple threat. He has 2 punts on the year.
And it's a 2nd down and goal from the 5 right now. They will go from the shotgun. Willis caught and dropped.
Looked like number 90, Ted Page, was the first guy there on Willis. First sack of the day. Watch number 90 on the left side of the screen. He was the first off on the snap, gets by Peter Collins, takes down the quarterback, and gets his towel to boot.
Ted Page from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, just outside of Philadelphia, who was a high school teammate of his quarterback, Glenn Foley.
Not only was he a high school teammate, he was Foley's tight end at East Cherry Hills. That's 2 big plays now in a row for the Boston College Eagles and their defensive linemen, Dan Kerr and Ted Page.
That JM, by the way, that you see on the jerseys of the Boston College Eagles, in case you don't know the story, is in memory of one of their teammates, Jay McGillis, a defensive back who died from leukemia in July of 1992 at the age of 21. Very significant part of this Boston College team, and his teammates in his memory wearing the JM on their jerseys. 3rd and goal from the 13, and it's 17-13, Boston College in the lead. Willis into the flat, caught by Way, but they'll have to settle for the field goal as Stephen Boyd, number 50, makes the tackle. Remember when he blocked a field goal against Notre Dame, hit him in the face?
And with a wet field and the rain coming down, this snap and hold will be very critical. And remember, Carquest's had a tough time getting it between these posts.
He's hit the right upright on a field goal and an extra point, and this one is no good. Carquest is not having a day to remember.
That's a big defensive stand by the Eagles. Cavaliers had it 1st and goal on the 5-yard line. Kerr makes the play. Page gets a sack. Welch decides to go with a real conservative call on 3rd and 13. 3rd and goal from the 13. And then the snap, although it's a good snap, Carquest never gets underneath this ball. Good hold as well from Tim Sherman. And Carquest finds another way of missing a placement kick.
So Boston College, with 13 seconds left, takes the snap, and Foley drops down. Glenn Foley with 2 touchdown catches in the first half, one of 78 yards and one of 11 yards, both to Clarence Cannon. And the Eagles of BC lead Virginia at halftime of the Carquest Bowl, 17-13. Andrea Joyce is along in just a moment. Two teams got out on the field. Patrick Harkleroad was practicing field goals. Number 9 has not. He was a punter the last 7 games last year, but has not attempted a field goal so far this season. They also were giving Rafael Garcia a couple of warm-up kicks. So Carquest apparently will not see action in the second half.
Yeah, the coach KO'd the kicker, Kyle Carquest.
Short kick taken at the 22-yard line on a fair catch, and the Virginia Cavaliers will take over. Simeon Willis will come on out. Impressions of the first half?
Well, I think that Virginia has done what they wanted to do. They wanted to keep this game close, not get into a shootout with Glenn Foley and the Eagles. And at just 3 points down, I think Welch has to be pretty happy. And then you think about the field goals that he did miss in that first half. One was a field goal, the other was a extra point that hit the upright. So Virginia's in good shape, but they could use those extra 4 points.
First down and 10, Virginia. And Willis brings it out to the left side. Tyrone Davis has to reach behind and can't make the catch. 2nd and 10. Virginia team that started off with that 6-1 record and aspirations of winning the ACC championship. They did get thumped pretty well by Florida State, but then things started to go awry for them in the latter part of the season. 2nd and 10. Draw play. Washington caught and dropped at the 21-yard line. Ted Page makes the tackle, number 90.
That's been a real problem for the Cavaliers, especially in the first half. They've not had any success at all running the ball to the wide sides. They start off with their first run here in the second half, tried to go wide right, and as you can see, that's just the 2nd time today, and they have a net of 3 yards there. So they're having most of their success running between the tackles, going right at this undersized BC defense.
3rd and 11, and out of the shotgun, Willis comes to his left, hit as he lets it go, and it's incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Willis dumped by Howlett, the linebacker, coming on the blitz, and got to him at the 11-yard line.
That's one thing the Eagles have been able to do, is they've been able to knock Willis down a few times today. They've sacked him just 1 time, but he has been forced to throw the ball sooner than he wanted to. That time, good coverage in the secondary forced him to just throw it away.
Will Bryce is on the punt for the 3rd time. Kenyatta Watson waits at the 40-yard line. And this is a terrific punt by Bryce. Way back at the 30-yard line. Watson is hit and dropped immediately by Joe Rowe, number 18. So good downfield coverage by the Cavalier special teams, a 47-yard punt, and -1 on the return. Now here comes Glenn Foley. 15 of 22, 226 yards. The touchdown tosses of 78 yards. And here's the way he spread it around.
And this interception was early in the game. But the impressive numbers is 4 out of 5 deep, 15 yards or more, right over the middle. A lot of those went to his tight end, Pete Mitchell.
Mitchell caught 5 in the first quarter, nothing in quarter number 2. They hand it off, and it's David Green bolting up the middle and moving out to the 38-yard line, where Tom Burns, number 43, made the tackle. Tom Burns, the GTE academic All-American and potential Rhodes Scholar.
And he's meeting big number 98. Neely does a nice job here. Or rather, Laro does a nice job of taking care of Randy Neal, and it's another big gain on the ground right up the middle for BC. Talked about Virginia running well up the middle. BC has well as well.
Campbell with the carry. And did not get enough for the first down. That'll bring up a 3rd down. We were talking about Tom Burns a moment ago. He a first-team academic All-American again this year. A 3.96 grade point average in nuclear engineering. That's up from a 3.92 because he got all A+ in his coursework this fall.
Way too smart to be playing football.
Up the middle it goes. And that will be close for the first down, just across the 40-yard line, as Campbell makes the carry. Burns grew up in Rock Island, Illinois, and then the family moved to the Washington, D.C. area. He's now a senior who will come back for a 5th year if he's granted it. He's asking for a medical redshirt year to be given. He's got to wait and see. He's applied for 1 more year of eligibility. He will be back at the University of Virginia at any rate because he plans to work on his PhD next year. Here's a kid who carried 19 hours plus lab work early on in his career, and Campbell is injured coming to the near side.
Yeah, Burns is a potential Rhodes Scholar as well. Most guys want to get out of college and quit going to school their whole life. This guy, I guess when you do it so well, then it's a nice place to be. I wouldn't know.
Ditto. Foley, deep left side, wide open. And there is Tom Burns' high school classmate, Keith Miller from Clinton, Maryland. They were reunited during this week at some of the festivities. Burns and Miller, who played together for all of their high school careers.
And Miller's just out of bounds as he turns and adjusts for this ball. And I think the referee might have missed that call. That right foot was inbounds. College football, you just need to have 1 foot in. And certainly looked like Keith Miller was in that time.
Miller, who spoke at the luncheon here the other day and is an aspiring sports broadcaster. We'll talk him out of that. Here's Shirley. Dwight Shirley, number 41. Who moves the ball to the left side. That's a gain of 8. Well, we had that heavy rainstorm that moved through here late in the second quarter, just before halftime. That gave way to sunshine. Now the clouds have come back in, but it seems rather comfortable and not raining for the current moment.
We saw Campbell go off the field with an injury, and just coming out of the locker room is Anthony Comer. So that's why Shirley was in the game for that one, and David Green is now at the tailback. But the real key, though, for the Eagles is they still have Laro as their lead blocker in front of the tailback.
And he leads the way right up the middle for Green on 3rd down, but they fall short of the first down and will have to punt. Unless they decide to go for the first down on 4th.
Well, it was a smart guy in there that time. Mr. Burns, along with P.J. Killian, that got good penetration as they came on the run blitz. And they stopped David Green for no gain. So this will be a 4th down try again for Tom Coughlin.
Rick Lance, the defensive coordinator of Virginia, looking on 4th and a yard. And it's a solid yard needed. Shirley goes left. Didn't get it. Did not get it.
Anytime a defense makes a play on a short yardage situation, the key is penetration. That time it was number 96, Matt McKeska, who got across the line of scrimmage and fouled up the blocking pattern of the Eagles, and Virginia takes over on the Eagles side of the 50.
Tom Coughlin decides to go for the first down at midfield and comes up short. UBA has the ball. From high above Joe Robbie Stadium, the overhead shots are from the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. The 192-foot blimp is based in Pompano Beach, Florida. This is a home game for the blimp.
Short road trip for them.
We need to get a home game someday. Maybe Sisters will play Steamboat. We'll promote that. That's a good idea.
Well, I'm sure that we'd have a crowd as lively and big as this, baby.
The Outlaws against the Sailors. I like the idea. First down and 10. Play it up. They hand it off. And there is a lot of room to run. Chris Sullivan makes the tackle of Charles Way, and we go down to Dave Logan.
Well, thank you, Vern. If you're worried about Darnell Campbell, if you're a BC fan, you needn't worry. He just took a good pop. I just talked to head trainer Randy Shroust, who said that just a dinger, he'll be back in the game. Dan and I, we've had a lot of those in our career. We know what that's all about.
Yes, but you're both the better for it. I mean, there's no lingering evidence of that.
You know what, David? We're going to get a whole lot more dingers, too, in this business.
Second down and 2. Shovel pass to the 45. Not executed as well as Lee Groscup used to. Every time you see the Utah pass, Groscup gets a little pop on television.
You got to get paid for it. There are a lot of these passes, and this is probably the worst looking one you'll ever see. Watch Jim Reed, number 74, get pushed back right into the receiver, Holmes, and they lose a couple of yards on that play. Not the way the coach drew it up and designed it, that's for sure.
Lee Groscup was a quarterback at Utah back in the early 50s when they ran that play, and later a fine broadcaster. And there is a pass complete to the right side to Aaron Mundy, the tight end, and the tackle made by Darrell Porter, number 44.
One of the statistical oddities for Virginia this year is that although Mundy has 20 catches on the year, he doesn't have a touchdown reception, nor does Bobby Neely, his backup, or Dave Gatham. No touchdowns for the tight end position for the Cavaliers.
And that is not because Willis hasn't been throwing the ball. He has, just spreading it around different positions. First and 10, Virginia. They trail 17-13. Twin receivers left side, and Jared Washington in motion. And here comes the blitz. Mamula, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Bobby Neely, number 88.
Yeah, the Eagles finally got Mamula in on the quarterback.
It's a push. You don't think so?
George thinking it was a push. Here's Mundy. This is no push, but rather Mamula. He's going to come in and really drill the quarterback. Good job of Willis seeing him come free and getting rid of it. And there's the push that the coach was talking about on Eric Shorter. But the referees obviously felt that the ball was uncatchable.
Second down and 10. 17-13, Boston College has the lead. They'll run it, but not very far. It'll be 3rd and 10, perhaps 9. Now Davis and Shorter are exchanging pleasantries.
And Eric Shorter is considerably shorter than Davis. Would not win the reach battle there. Shorter goes at 5'10", and we've already talked about Davis being 6'5". But really haven't seen the Cavs take advantage of that height advantage they have.
Well, this time Davis comes out to the near side against Kamara, bottom of the screen. And Willis across the middle, caught by the tight end, short of the first down at the 30. This would be a 47-yard field goal if the Cavs elect to try one. And George Wells told Dave Logan at the half he was thinking about changing kickers. Harkle Road worked out. They're going to pass on the field goal and go for the first down.
That's a good decision. I mean, Kirkide hit the upright twice on placement kicks. And so Welsh said to Garcia and Harkle Road, get out there early and warm up. But they didn't impress anybody, so they're going to go for it on 4th down.
4th and 3. Virginia trails by 4. Willis, left side, incomplete. Intended for Washington. And Michael Reed, number 17, was the cover man.
Well, Mike Reed is their best cornerback. And watch as number 17 reads this play on the outside here, closes quickly, and forces the ball to be thrown out of bounds. Good defense by the Eagles.
8 minutes and 8 seconds remaining. Quarter number 3 from Joe Robbie Stadium, BC.
Porter, as he reads the play the whole way and takes away Willis's first option, he comes late to Washington on the outside, and good coverage by Michael Reed. So good job by both Reed and Darryl Porter in that Boston College secondary.
Darryl Porter playing close to home. Team practices, we told you, in the first half all week at his alma mater, St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Fort Lauderdale. First down and 10, Boston College. They're up by 4, 17-13. Screen pass. Greg Grice, number 20. That is his third catch of the ball game.
Boston College trying to run the same play as Virginia has run, that flanker screen, also to a number 20. Larry Holmes had a lot of success with it for the Cavs in the first half, and now Foley comes out and hits Greg Grice for a nice 6-7 yard gain. That was the play that set up the winning field goal against Notre Dame when Foley hit Ivan Boyd.
Second down and 4. Foley into the middle, tipped away. It was intended for his tight end, Brent Gibbons. And Tom Burns, number 43, went back and knocked that one awry.
A really nice play for a guy who has designs on working in nuclear fusion. How did I do, Vern?
Nuclear.
Yes, it is. And it's a heck of a nuclear play. He blew that one up.
Yes, he did. 7:23 remaining in the third quarter. 3rd and 4. And here is Pete Mitchell, the tight end, his first catch since the first quarter.
He had 5 catches in that first quarter, Vernon. It seemed like they were all 5 in the first 2 drives. Finally, Foley's going back to him, and again, his big tight end rewards him with a first down.
Where might he play if he gets a chance in a couple of years in the NFL?
You know, I see him as being a move tight end, an H-back, similar to a Jay Novacek. He has outstanding hands and a real good feel for reading defenses, especially zone defenses.
1st and 10. That handoff goes to David Green, number 30, and he crosses midfield, gets down near the 47-yard line. David Green, the junior from Mount Kisco, New York. And Campbell comes back into the lineup now, number 32, as Green exits. Just a recap for you. Virginia scored first, took a 7-0 lead. Field goal made it 7-3. Then BC on top. Here comes the blitz. Foley reads it, goes deep. He has Miller. Touchdown as one man from Clinton, Maryland meets another man from Clinton, Maryland. Miller got behind Tom Burns. A 46-yard gain.
You can be sure that Tom Burns did not want to see this mismatch between his old high school teammate. Keith Miller's a real sprinter, and of course Burns is an outside linebacker, and that was just no contest. Real nice throw too by Foley, seeing he had Miller so wide open. Didn't make it very difficult for him at all. He took it in easily.
Now the extra point from David Gordon about to come. 6:19 to go, third quarter. Kick is up and good.
This is Glenn Foley's 3rd touchdown of the afternoon. Nothing like seeing a wide open wide receiver running free in the secondary, and Miller scores for BC. For the second half, watch the safety come over and then allow this mismatch right down the middle of the field. The Cavs were looking for Mitchell, and they had a terrible mismatch with their linebacker on a speedy wide receiver.
And there is Keith Miller, 46-yard touchdown catch. And Glenn Foley, who has now thrown for 291 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. That was early in this game.
It was his second pass of the game. And he's not getting rattled and pushed around by the Cavaliers. That's why he's being so effective and decisive.
Well, Glenn Foley talked about the decision-making capacity he brings to a quarterback spot.
One thing Dan Marino said about, he says to himself before every game, is be decisive about whatever you do. And I think that is a critical point about being a quarterback. If you're going to make the right decision or you're not going to make the right decision, that's the fact is, once you decide it, you got to go through with it and go through with it full force, and that's what I'd like to do.
There's the handoff on 1st down and 10 from the 20 out to the 26-yard line.
That's really the benefit of being in the same system for 3 years now under Coach Tom Coughlin. Foley is, they say he's on the same page with the coach. He knows what the coach expects. He knows how to read the defense. And his receivers run a lot of option routes, something they started when they had Brian Brennan and Gerald Phelan and Troy Stratford. And it just carried on into this offensive system.
On 2nd down and 3, Kevin Brooks gets the call, number 26, and moves out to the 31. That'll be a 1st down and 10. With 5:41 to go, 3rd quarter.
Yeah, with that 5:41 to go, Vern, they're down by 11 points. They've given up a few points by hitting the upright with placement kicks, and then they did not convert on a 4th down the last time they had the ball. So this is a critical drive for George Wells and his Wahoos.
You seem to get a lot of pleasure out of saying that.
I wish they would score one more time so I could say it a couple more times.
1st and 10 with 5:18 to go, quarter number 3. Willis hands it off deep, and Stephen Boyd doesn't quite make the tackle, but he knocks the man backwards, and that allows Chris Sullivan, number 93, to get there. And right now, let's check in with Dave Logan. Dave?
Okay, thank you very much, Vern. You know, Boston College is starting to get a little thin at running back. It's a good reason. It's good that they have the lead, because we just saw Anthony Comer go out of the game. He's got a shoulder injury, so they have the ice on him. They lost Darnell Campbell just moments ago with the slight concussion. So if some of these guys can't return and they have to run the ball, it's going to all fall on the hands of David Green. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, David.
I'm not too sure that they got to be too concerned with their running game, with Foley throwing for 290 yards now and 3 touchdowns.
They tried this play 3 or 4 times, and this time it doesn't work.
And did you see the indecision by the quarterback, Simeon Willis, there? He did not throw it right away. He waited too long, then threw a high pass to Larry Holmes, made a very difficult catch for him. Remember, he's only a sophomore. He's had a heck of a year, but once you take the ball down like that, the timing comes off, and then you throw the ball a little bit too high. Tough try for Larry Holmes.
And a 3rd down and 17 now. Simeon Willis, 50% thrower so far today, 177 yards. Third and 17. They go deep left side in the double coverage. Tyrone Davis just off his fingertips, as Terrence Wiggins and Darrell Porter were deep on Davis. It'll be 4th down.
That was pretty impressive effort by Tyrone Davis as he split Darrell Porter there and the safety and still got his fingers on the ball. You don't expect a guy of that type of size to have that type of speed, but obviously he does.
Will Bryce is on to punt. Lefty sends it high and deep. And a fair catch called for and taken by Kenyatta Watson at the 36. Well, we mentioned that Virginia jumped on top early in the game after an interception. Jared Washington scored from 12 out to make it 7-3. Gordon countered with a 19-yard field goal, 7-3. Then BC went on top as Foley found Cannon for 78 yards. A 17-13 score. Way scored from 8 yards out for the Cavs, but the PAT was missed. And then Foley's 5-yard pass to Cannon met Boston College back on top 17-13, and they just increased the lead on a 46-yard touchdown pass. Play action. Foley comes right. Caught by Ransom, Tony Ransom. Number 2, his first catch of the season, just brought over from the defensive side of the ball. You know, Glenn Foley brought up a name in conversation with us that we hadn't heard or thought about in a while. Joe Pisarcik.
He's offensive coordinator in high school. And so this guy has had a lot of experience in pro style of offenses. You know, Joe brought a passing game to that high school that was a pro type of game. And now with Coughlin here, I think Foley's well prepared to make the jump to the NFL.
Here's Green breaking tackles and moving the ball inside the 35. Keith Lyle and Carl Smith make the tackle.
And with that 17-yard gain, he equals his longest run of the year. Looks like a lead draw type of play, and again, it's big number 98. Gordon Laro leading the way. Good job there by Kendall as well. But Green has a little bit of burst there. He takes off pretty good.
At the 35, first down and 10. 24-13, Boston College lead. Straight drop back by Foley. Nobody open, he's sacked. Matt McKeska, number 96, got to him.
This is what they were talking about when they said they needed a relentless pass rush. Watch Matt McKeska not give up on Foley. Has a shot at him there. Foley just moves away, and then McKeska gets up off the turf to pick up a sack. Heck of a play.
Second sack of the game for the Virginia Cavaliers. And it's a loss of 7. Second down and 17. Michael Campbell checks in as a wide receiver. Darnell Campbell to the 38-yard line, where BC will face a third down and 13.
David Logan told us that Campbell has a slight concussion, but really that's okay for a fullback. If you play a full game as a fullback or a linebacker and you don't have a slight concussion, then you're not playing hard enough.
Campbell stays in. Third down. Officially call it 15. Foley comes right. Nobody open. Finds finally his tight end, but this one will come back. We're going to get a holding call on Boston College. Tom Coughlin, 3 years the receiver coach with the Giants under Bill Parcells. Had quite a bit of experience in the NFL, as a matter of fact. Prior to that, with Philadelphia and Green Bay.
Said the 3 men that influenced his coaching style most was number 1, Bill Parcells, then Frank Maloney, and of course Jack Bicknell. But this offense that they have here.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, repeat third down.
This offense puts a tremendous amount of pressure on a defense because they want to get 5 guys involved in the passing game, and yet they can run the ball effectively with Campbell and David Green. They have all the elements.
Miller comes out to the near side with Greg Grice, and the third wide receiver is top of your screen. On third in the bundle. Left side. Cannon short of the first down at the 26.5-yard line. Clarence Cannon tackled by Perry Ellsworth.
Clarence Cannon having a heck of a day. 3 receptions, over 100 yards now. But what that play did there is that gave Boston College a chance to go for it on 4th down as they send in another big tight end. This is Brent Gibbons going into the game.
Mitchell goes to the left side on 4th and 1 officially. 4th and 2 officially. Got it. Mitchell makes the grab. Randy Neal and James Ferrier with the tackle.
Talk about the decision-making process for number 13. Well, a lot of it has to do with where number 82 is going. They give Mitchell a lot of option routes where he can go down and read the defense and either hook to the inside or hook to the outside. We talked about how the Eagles used it back when Flutie was the quarterback. Doug Flutie, of course, with the BC Lions now. But Mitchell is really perfecting that art.
We're still in the third quarter, and Foley has posted some gaudy figures. Here's David Green, 337 yards passing. Well, here's the comparison between the two, Dan.
It's a pretty good comparison when you look at the numbers for Foley. Had 4 more starts than Doug Flutie. But Doug now is a BC Lion after being a BC Eagle.
And doing quite nicely. 2nd and 9. Final 35 seconds, quarter number 3. Foley, left side, caught by Campbell. Spins out of a tackle and reaches the 11-yard line. Darnell Campbell makes the grab. That's a gain of 8.
I thought it was interesting in talking to the BC officials about how big that Notre Dame game and that win was, and was it thought of in the same light or as important as Flutie's great win in the Orange Bowl. And to a man, everybody seems to think that that great win over Notre Dame was the biggest in BC history.
And there's the guy that engineered the comeback. That's the end of the third quarter here with the score: Boston College 24, Virginia 13. Our coverage continues after this message from your local station. You are watching CBS. Florida for the Carquest Bowl. We begin the final 15. Vern Lundquist, Dan Fouts, along with Andrea Joyce and David Logan. Boston College leading Virginia 24-13. Most of the activities for the Carquest Bowl week taking place in Fort Lauderdale and Broward County. You're looking at a live shot of North Miami Beach in this beautiful part of the country. Joe Robbie Stadium, where we play the game, is located just below the Broward County line in Dade County. Got all that straight, and here's the game summary, Dan.
Yeah, that big number, 345 for Glenn Foley. Twice as many yards passing as his counterpart, Simeon Willis.
3rd down and 2, Boston College, as we start the final quarter. Play comes left, touchdown Campbell, untouched. The TD. 78 yards on the ground now for Campbell. And Gordon's on for the extra point. Hammered it home on the first play of the final quarter.
Gordon Laro is going to be in motion on this play, and he's going to be the lead blocker again. Here he is, number 98. But also look at number 61, Ben Valeshka, getting out on the pull. Takes care of the safety, Ellisworth. And Campbell just goes in, as you said, Vern, untouched. His 20th touchdown rushing this year. Good job by that BC line. There's just not a white shirt to be found as Laro kicks out on Carl Smith. Campbell high steps again.
Hey, Mom.
That concussion's feeling pretty good. Like an untouched touchdown as your aspirin.
That's right. That increases the lead to 31-13. As this second half has been dominated by Boston College, and the Eagle cheerleaders doing a push-up for each score would just as soon put this one away.
Looks like a couple of them are struggling here with these 31 points.
By the way, to see the big news in Texas, the Texas A&M mascot, Reveille, the newest one, stolen, recovered. They got her back.
My goodness.
Yeah.
There's a joke there somewhere, too, isn't there?
No, there's not. No, there is not. Not for me, who said Texas Agricultural and Military University a couple weeks ago. I'm still hearing about that. Here's Holmes, and he's out to the 33-yard line. Eric Shorter makes the tackle, and let's go down to the sideline check-in with Andrea Joyce.
Well, Vern, things started going bad for Virginia yesterday. There's no mounted cavalier on a horse here. Now, as it turns out, the rider is here, but the horse is not. Unlike Colorado, Virginia doesn't own its horse, so they couldn't bring him down here. They tried to rent a horse yesterday. They even had one picked out. The rider was going to go over there and get acquainted with the horse so they wouldn't have a disastrous first date. It all fell apart because of a legal liability issue. That's my last animal report for the day, Vern.
Owls and horses, huh? All right, Andrea. First down and 10, Virginia. Willis has it batted up in the air, incomplete. It'll be second down. Joe O'Brien, number 97, got hold of that one.
Boston College defense doing a great job of holding down this Cavalier offense. Just 21 yards now in the second half for the Cavs.
17-13 BC lead at the half. They've scored 2 unanswered touchdowns in the second half. Second down and 10. Running play up the middle, and it's Kevin Brooks who moves it out to the 45. That's a gain of 11 and a first down and 10. Virginia using primarily a trio of running backs: Washington, Kevin Brooks, and Charles Way, and it's Brooks who's in there now.
Yeah, they're 14.5 minutes to go in the game, and they're down by 18. They got to start picking the pace up between plays.
How about Arizona over Miami? And Penn State rolling over Tennessee now. First down and 10. Into the flat. Brooks has it and moves it down to the 50-yard line. It'll be second down and 5. Stephen Boyd, number 50, and Joe Kamara, number 5, with the tackle. Stephen Boyd, who grew up, as he said, about 20 minutes from LaGuardia Airport on Long Island, Valley Stream, New York.
He's had a pretty good career with the Boston College Eagles. Over 400 tackles as a middle linebacker. You think he's had a few concussions?
Second down and 4. Second down and 5. Call it. 1, 2, 3, 4 flags down.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5 yards, still second down.
I think we're seeing a quarterback that is this is significant as far as the pressure that the Eagles have been able to put on Simeon Willis in the second half. Just 4 completions out of 12 tries. He hasn't been sacked, but he has been hurried, and he has been forced to take a second look at that secondary.
On the near sideline, Jeff Ryan is warming up, the second-string quarterback for Boston College. So Foley might be done. There's a sack, and that'll force a third down as Chris Sullivan gets there. That's Hartzell, Mark Hartzell, number 10, and Jeff Ryan, number 8, also warming up. Now Hartzell is throwing by himself, or not with Ryan, rather.
Ryan is the second-team quarterback, and whenever you see the first-team guy get a bunch of yards and a bunch of touchdowns, the guys behind him say, "Hey, coach, how about me? Let me have a shot at this."
Here's Willis, screen pass, left side. Oh, boy. Brian Howlett saw that one coming from the time of the snap.
Vern, this is just a great play by Howlett. Watch him here, number 45. The Cavaliers are going to get 3 blockers out here, and he's just going to split all 3 of them and get in on the tackle. good recognition of the play, and then enough athletic ability and speed to get by Jim Reed and make the tackle.
Will Bryce is on to punt. Kenyatta Watson, number 4, waits for it back at the 20-yard line. No fair catch called, and flags are thrown. Joe Rowe, number 18, the first man down, but he arrived there a little too early, I believe.
And he didn't even bother to argue with the officials about the call. He was being blocked, but Watson never had a free shot at making this reception. Remember, the defense, the kick covering team, has to give the ball carrier, the catcher, at least 6 feet to make the catch. Question is, was the blocker in the way as well? And that is the call. The blocker was holding Joe Rowe. That's why the collision.
Pushing it back above the waist. On the receiving team, 10 yards from the flag or half the distance. First down.
Looks like Tony Ransom right here is going to push Joe Rowe right into the receiver. And there's the illegal use of the hands, block in the back, whatever you want to call it.
Boston College does have the ball and the 31-13 lead. Remaining in the 5th-year senior from Cherry Hill, Pennsylvania. So his collegiate career not complete yet. And a terrific day thus far with 3 touchdown passes. First down, and Darnell Campbell gets the handoff left side. Now Foley has thrown for 345, and Campbell is nudging closer to a 100-yard day on the ground.
You know, I think it's the Foley's effectiveness throwing the ball that has caused this Cavalier defense to be very ineffective stopping the run. This defensive line, they're not coming off the ball. They're just kind of catching the blocker, lifting their heads, looking for Foley in the pocket, and Campbell's running right by him.
2nd and 4. Campbell out to the 20. That's a first down and 10. Randy Neal, number 6, makes the stop.
The Cavs, they just have to stop Boston College right here. They can forget about this one. They're down by 18. They have Boston backed up to the 20-yard line. It's time for George Welch's 25th ranked defense to come up and make a play.
Campbell with 20 carries now for 90 yards, and Foley 345 yards throwing the ball. Lauro and David Green in the backfield now on first down and 10. And Tom Coughlin will work on the clock, keep the ball on the ground, and David Green picks up a quick 10. Maybe officially 11 if he gets enough for the first down. That is 11.
I think the one guy that the Cavaliers weren't ready for is this guy, big number 98. Gordon Lauro is going to make another big block here. Comes right on the middle linebacker there. Randy Neal stuffs him. Ferrier can't make the tackle. And Green gets it out to the 30. But this guy, Gordon Lauro, with the close cropped hair, huh? Or no hair look? What do you call that, Vern?
It's closer for me than a no hair look. Here's the handoff out to the 34-yard line. Darnell Campbell makes the tackle. Keith Lyle, or rather the Campbell carry and Lyle the tackle. And the clock shows 10-13 and winding down. Arizona has increased the lead over Miami at the Fiesta Bowl. And Penn State knocks off Tennessee 31-13. That's identical to the score we have here. Now Tom Coughlin was worried about the execution of his team, and they have performed well today. Not many problems except on that play as Foley is knocked down. That's the 3rd sack of the afternoon. Tom Coughlin, who spent 3 years as an assistant to Bill Parcells with the Giants, and of course the Giants and the Cowboys lead our coverage of the NFL tomorrow as they battle for the NFC Eastern Division Championship, while Green Bay and Detroit play for the Central Division title. Phoenix will be at Atlanta and Chicago at the Rams. It all begins with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern Time tomorrow on CBS. 3rd and 11. Foley comes left side, caught by Miller. That's a first down at the 42-yard line. Keith Miller in front of Carl Smith, number 47.
And he was in front of the down marker, too, short of it by about 2 yards after he made the catch. He turned to the inside quickly and got enough yardage for the first down. Key play there by Keith Miller keeps the drive alive. The clock continues to run, and BC's looking at a 18-point lead.
8 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Mitchell in motion. David Green across the 45 to the 47. It's Darnell Campbell, beg your pardon. Well, you've looked at film of Glenn Foley. Now you've had a chance to see him live for a quarter, 3.5 quarters. What do you think?
Well, aside from his gaudy numbers today, over 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, I like what I see in the fact that he gets back, makes up his mind, and throws the ball. His arm strength is good. He reads coverages very well. He communicates with his receivers well. He does a lot of the things that you like to see in a pro quarterback.
Like that pass.
That is usually the yardstick for a pro quarterback, is how well do you throw the deep outside route, the deep sideline route. And Foley a couple of times today has put it on a line and right on the money.
Started out his career with a lot of interceptions back in 1990 and has improved in that category every year.
And he's got 11 now here, which matches the number of touchdowns he threw his first year. That is the type of improvement you want to see in any quarterback.
Here's the blitz. Foley rolls out to his right. Off his back foot, incomplete. And I think some time ago we also moved his hometown across the state line. It's Cherry Hills, New Jersey, not Pennsylvania.
We Kimosabi?
Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
There's only one hill in New Jersey, and it's Cherry Hill, and I'll take the Cherry Hills out of it. So our scoreboard's even, Vern.
Bingo.
Our turnovers.
9 plays, 55 yards so far. Michael Campbell comes in. Backs are split. 2nd down. Ball is tipped, incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 10.
That was knocked down by the tallest of the tall. We talked about John Harris, freshman defensive end, number 98. He got his hand on that one. Doesn't have to reach up real high at 6'8", probably the tallest lineman in college football. It's a little bit like Too Tall Jones, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Just an inch shorter. 3rd and 10. 7:40 remaining in the ball game. Foley pulls up, finds Campbell, and that's another first down as they get to the 20-yard line. A gain of 18 and 390 yards through the air for Foley.
And finding his outlet receiver. Another thing you have to see in a young quarterback is his knowledge of where everybody on his side of the ball is going to be on each pass route. That time Campbell was his outlet receiver. Foley's looking right side of the field, came back and dumped it off, picked up another first down.
David Green is back in the tailback spot, gets the handoff and wiggles through to the 15-yard line. Well, of all the plethora of bowl games being played on New Year's Day, thus far Glenn Foley has posted the best numbers of any of the bowls played so far.
And this drive, which started on the 8-yard line, is their most impressive because you knew that Virginia had to pull out everything they had to try and stop Glenn Foley, but they just haven't been able to do it.
2nd and 5. Goes in the end zone, intercepted. Picked off by Harry Ellsworth. And he moves it all the way back out near the 30-yard line.
But the one thing that happens to a lot of quarterbacks, though, Vern, when they got the hot hand, they get a little bit greedy. And this is the case for Foley this time. Ellsworth is 27. Watch as he comes over, reads the quarterback's eyes, trying to get it to Keith Miller in the back of the end zone. Nice job by Percy Ellsworth. His second interception of the year.
6:24 remaining in the ball game. Cavaliers have the ball back.
Question: if your cold pill's so good, how come your symptoms keep coming back? Because your pill doesn't work 24 hours. Introducing Effidac 24, the first cold tablet so effective just one works 24 hours. Look, Sudafed drops off after 6 hours, Tavist after 12. So your symptoms keep coming back, but just one Effidac gives consistent relief for 24 hours. So your symptoms don't come back. New 24-hour Effidac keeps cold symptoms from coming back.
Imagine a deodorant that keeps a man feeling as clean and fresh as this all through the day. Well, this is it. It's Ban for Men. Clean and fresh because it goes on clear. And Ban for Men sets up a clear shield of protection that fights odor-causing bacteria for a full 24 hours. So feel this clean, this fresh. Try Clear Ban for Men deodorant. And now, Ban for Men comes in new antiperspirant formula. It's the first clear solid that helps keep you dry.
Making it to the pros takes a certain level of excellence, the experience to get the job done right, and a reputation for quality. Like dependable Carquest filters, high-efficiency filters keep your engine running clean and smooth. That's why professionals choose Carquest. Carquest filters, superior by design. So for the best possible performance, install what the pros install. Carquest. Welcome to the pros.
For. This is the championship trophy. Boston College is six minutes away from capturing it. This is the Brian Piccolo Award. Goes to the most valuable player. Vern, these are some very impressive trophies. And I tell you what, it looks like Boston College is going to capture one. Somebody's going to get a beautiful most valuable player trophy. Back to you, Vern.
Okay, David. And we will be selecting the Carquest players of the game a little later on in the afternoon as well. 6 minutes and 24 seconds remaining in the game right now. 31-13. Boston College on top, trying to win their 9th of the year, finish out with a 9-3 mark. It would send Virginia to a 7-5 season finish. Simeon Willis comes to his right side and fires the ball to his tight end Mundy. Aaron Mundy makes the grab at the 45, and the tackle is made by Eric Shorter, number 6. The crowd announced today at 38,516. That's about half capacity here at Joe Robbie. And that may reflect the number of tickets distributed, because there are a ton of empty seats.
Well, remember, it rained a little bit too, so that sent a few people
right.
Sent a few people that didn't come back home.
1st and 10. And time has been called by Virginia. The clock stops with 5 minutes and 49 seconds remaining, and Boston College up 31-13. And the Los Angeles Rams. 1st down and 10, Virginia. They trail 31-13 with 5:49 to go in the ball game. Here's Willis, and Holmes makes the grab at the 46-yard line. Eric Shorter, number 6, makes the tackle for the Boston College Eagles.
And real surprising that the Cavaliers are not going to a no-huddle offense here. Trailing by 18 with 5.5 minutes to go. Get the feeling that Coach Welsh isn't real confident either in his quarterback or in his offense, running a hurry-up offense. But what else can you do? You've got to be able to do that at this state of the game.
Well, that play got messed up, and Willis is tackled for a loss back at the 47.5, 48-yard line. That's a loss of 2. George Welsh said he didn't think they could win a high-scoring game, and Boston College has put 31 on the board.
He was very prophetic, too. He said that he knows that Boston College, they're a little bit like Florida State. They're going to go out and get 24 to 30 points every game. He figured that his team would be right there with him, though.
3rd down. Out of the shotgun, Willis back and has Holmes open. but he is going to come up just short of the first down, it would appear.
Looked like he had the first down too, and trying to get extra yardage, gave it up, and he came up short by about a yard.
That'll set up 4th down. And Holmes will stay in the lineup. Several other substitutions made for Virginia. 4th and 1. Jared Washington, the deep back in the eye. Way stopped. Mamula. Mike Mamula makes the tackle, and Boston College takes over.
Just showing his outstanding quickness. Watch as he just flashes across the line of scrimmage, gets inside the block of Washington and drops way for the loss, and it's a big 4th down stop for the BC Eagles again.
And they will make a substitution at quarterback. Mark Hartzell calls the signals when we return. Stars and Stripes. It was in 1960 when Goodyear provided its first bowl coverage right here on CBS. That was the 1960 Orange Bowl. And if memory serves correct, a guy named Cherkinian was the producer of that telecast. Frank is the first name. And beautiful Fort Lauderdale, where we have been the guests since last Tuesday, and our thanks to all the people on the Carquest Bowl committee for their wonderful hospitality during our stay here. Mark Hartzell takes over at quarterback for the Boston College Eagles. They've got a first down at the 45. He hands it off to Shirley. And Dwight Shirley moves across the 50 to the 47-yard line. Tackle made by Skeet Jones, number 32. Hartzell, a redshirt freshman, 6'4", 209 pounds. And Glenn Foley finishes collegiate career at Boston College with some rather impressive numbers. 391 yards today. He threw for 3 touchdowns, was intercepted twice, and sacked 3 times. 2nd and 4. Justice Smith, number 42, in the lineup and gets the carry.
You know, Vern, that's a pretty good way to end your college career with 6 straight passing days of over 300 yards. Of course, that tremendous win against Notre Dame, and then to finish it all up with a bowl game win. That's a heck of a way to say goodbye to BC and look forward to a real promising future in the big leagues.
And Glenn Foley said he wasn't allowing himself yet to think about a future in the NFL, but I'm sure thoughts are creeping into his mind, telling us that he had his degree and he was very proud of that, and very proud of what he and his teammates had accomplished at Boston College. Justice Smith with the carry, and we're closing in on 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the ball game.
And I found it kind of amusing that he wasn't really thinking about playing in the NFL. If it happens, fine. But then how can you not pick up a newspaper or listen to a sports report and hear about Troy Aikman's deal and not be thinking, well, maybe I could play in the NFL?
I think
he was being politically correct at the time.
Jeff Beckley scoops it up on one hop and sends the punt downfield, where Holmes waits for it, and the Cavaliers fall on it at the 15-yard line. Well, Glenn Foley did talk with Dan and me about going to the National Football League.
I don't like to think about it because I've seen too many guys go through it where everyone's hyping them, pick first round here, second round here, and then they don't even get drafted, or they get drafted in 7th, 8th round, or whatever it is. So I mean, I got my degree. I'm a graduate of Boston College, which says a lot, and I'm proud of it. If I get drafted, I mean, that's my ultimate goal. I'd love to play in the NFL. I think I could play in the NFL.
What do you think?
Me thinks he can play in the NFL as well.
New quarterback in now for the Virginia Cavaliers. This is Mike Groh, whose dad, Al, was the defensive coordinator with the New York Giants a year ago, and a bit of a battle breaks out.
Stephen Boyd and Aaron Mundy were involved in that one.
And now the Cavaliers hurry to get another play called with 1:15 remaining in the Carquest Bowl for 1994. Here's Groh coming in the near side, and that one is caught, and a fumble. Picked off in midair by Boston College, and they get the football back. Terrence Wiggins recovers the ball for Boston College.
Some question as to whether Larry Holmes' knee was down before he was hit and fumbled the ball.
Knee was down right there. It's all right, let's go.
And is that what they're going to rule?
I thought his knee was down.
Down at the ball, spot of the beanbag. It is still Virginia's ball.
Yeah, spotted at the beanbag. That is, why didn't they just blow the whistle at the time here when his knee does go down? Yeah, right there. And then he gets hit by Boyd and fumbles.
Now the Groh falls down behind the line of scrimmage. Well, this is going to wrap it up for Dan and me for the year, too. And I just want to take a moment to thank the folks who've taken the ride with us all year, not just down in the truck, but here in the booth. Down in the truck, Mike Burks, our producer, Andy Kindle, our director, Alan Brum, our associate producer, and Sean Gerchikoff, our broadcast associate, Lance Garrett, official stats. Here in the booth, Dave Yagi, who's been our statistician for years. Joe Cash, Nancy Lundquist, our spotters. Thanks, guys.
You bet. Thanks for a wonderful year.
And more.
We hope.
Time has been called. 31-13, Boston College is going to be the winner. In the Carquest Bowl in 1994, Boston College will win it and go to 9-3 for the season. And on fourth down, Will Bryce is on to punt for the Virginia Cavaliers, who wind up their season by losing 4 of their last 5 and 5 of their last 7. This is a dandy punt by Bryce, and it goes out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So 34 seconds remaining in this ball game. Tom Coughlin saying this was very important for his team to win today. It's great for recruiting. It gives them, in effect, an extra spring practice.
He called it perpetuating the program, which was an interesting way of saying it. Gives them a lot of publicity and does help in that recruiting process. You win a bowl game, it's what you play for all year long. And this is a happy group from Chestnut Hill. They deserve to be. They played a great game on both sides of the ball.
Takes a little bit of the sting away from that loss to West Virginia when they had the lead and wound up on the short end of a 17-14 score. 31-13, Boston College will win it. Recognize that face? That's Steve Marciano. Looks a lot like his late uncle, doesn't he? For Tom Coughlin and the Boston College Eagles, an impressive victory today over Virginia. George Welsh and the Virginia Cavaliers go to 7-5. And Boston College, there's Glenn Foley and George Welsh shaking hands in the center of the field. Down to Andrea Joyce.
Coach, congratulations. When you turned down the job with the New York Giants, you said you wanted to accomplish more at Boston College. Is this the thing you had in mind?
Well, it's a start in the right direction, that's for sure. We're very proud of this team. These fifth-year seniors done a great job. It's great to win.
You've had a lot of experience in the NFL. What do you think of Glenn Foley's prospects?
It's an excellent prospect.
All right, congratulations. Best of luck next year. All right, back to you, Vern.
All right, Andrea, and our Carquest players of the game. Randy Neal of Virginia at last count with 17 tackles, and Glenn Foley of Boston College, a rather obvious choice for the BC Eagles, with 25 of 36, 391 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I think I agree with the coach about the prospects of Glenn Foley, but the bigger part right now for him and his BC teammates is at the end of their season with a victory. It's a New Year's Day bowl game, and he's got a bright future.
Foley, 391 and 3 TDs, 2 touchdowns in the second half. So for Dan Fouts, Andrea Joyce, and Dave Logan, I'm Vern Lundquist saying so long from Joe Robbie Stadium where the final score, Boston College 31, Virginia 13.